Charity Navigator's celebration of Women's History Month. This is going to be a great conversation with the wonderful leaders of Girlstart and Girls Leap. Thanks so much for joining us today at our virtual event. I'm Laura Andes. I'm the Chief Program Officer here at Charity Navigator, and I'm joined by two wonderful colleagues, Lynn Masterman, Executive Director of Girls Leap, and Shane Woods, Executive Director of Girlstart. Hello, ladies.
Hello.
Before we jump into today's program, I want to share with you a few fast facts about Women's History Month, which is why we're here today. You know, I learned in preparing for this that Women's History Month was started in 1857 by some probably very remarkable women in New York City who are protesting factory working conditions. And, you know, I think that sort of starts, women have always sort of been at the forefront of social issues and pushing these things forward. And it was no different with the first women in Women's History Month. The first official Women's History Day was celebrated in 1909. In 1981, Congress finally, I'm going to say, established National Women's History Week. And in 1987, it expanded that week to a month. So lots of great progress in recognizing women, but I think we all know there's still work to be done. Women are still, you know, not always given the same opportunity as men, especially outside of the United States, where they may not have access to education or women's empowerment program, and still in the United States, where we know that women still need empowerment programs and STEM education, among other things. We just had Equal Pay Day, and women still make 84 cents to every dollar that men make. And unfortunately, some of that extends into the philanthropic sector. Women and girls oriented programming only receives 1.9% of overall charitable giving, according to the Women and Girls Index. So there's so much more work to be done to highlight the wonderful work of women and girl-oriented programming and to move those efforts forward. So that brings us today. And again, I'm thrilled to have our guests, Shane and Lynn. Hello and welcome. We have a lot to cover about the wonderful work your organizations are doing, and I'm sure our guests are anxious to hear about it. So Shane, can I start with you? Can you introduce yourself and tell me sort of your journey of how you ended up where you are today?
Gladly. Thank you for having me. First, I want to say that I have been an executive director for Girlstart for all of 10 months. So it is new to me, but being in informal space and being in front of girls has been definitely a passion of mine for a while. I started as a 7th and 8th grade science teacher. So nothing scares me, new challenges. I'm always ready, always thinking solution oriented, as well as keeping my eye and my passion of helping kids really see that science and STEM informs everything they do from the moment they wake up till they go to sleep, and even while they're asleep. So having a chance to be in formal education for over 17 years, where I was a Dean of Instruction, a K-12 Science Director for Fort Worth ISD, overseeing the amazing pathway that's possible for 88,000 students at that time was just an awe-inspiring gift to be able to love science and then to create a pathway for those that love it. And then having a colleague say that there's an amazing opportunity at Girl Scouts of Northeast Texas that I think you should apply for. And that's where I got a chance to be the senior director of the STEM Center of Excellence, which really, as people know, Girl Scouts about cookies, camping, and crafts, we really are expanding that to be about building confidence and character and courage in different avenues of the world. And one of their pillars now is STEM. And so being able to reimagine a 92-acre camp that allowed experiences from girls K to gray, if you will, because we still help teach the volunteers and those who love Girl Scouts so much about what's possible through STEM, but also reaching out our arms and opening them to the entire community. So allowing those who are their families, their brothers, their sisters to be able to come and experience and see what it looks like to root on a girl and help her build that STEM identity, not only internally, but externally, that others see her in a career is in a way so impactful. But also as a executive director now, I get a chance to really to oversee what does it look like to have an organization that really reaches from coast to coast. So Girlstart is not only in Texas in 3 major metropolitan areas, we're also in Massachusetts and California. And then we ramp up in the summer to additional states. So it's one of those things that I had a chance to see what does it look like from the perspective of a teacher, see what does it look like as a provider of out of school and summer programming in STEM, and really be able to find my own self purpose, if you will, and fulfillment, and being able to really help those who didn't know STEM was for them. It's a possibility, and especially as we all know, women carry so many burdens every day as caregivers, sometimes solo and independent. So that means that STEM is actually an amazing opportunity for women to emerge from poverty, to be able to be providers to their family in a different way. It also opens up new opportunities to give back to their community, to change and shape how their community is shaped. So being able to do something and give girls an amazing pathway is just the perfect ending in terms of where my current resume is at in terms of being in this executive director role, being a nonprofit, and being in a STEM girl serving organization is everything that I ever wanted. And I was able to find that dream job, and I'm living it.
I love that journey and seeing how all the different pieces come together. And I'm sure all the women who have benefited from your example as you went through your own journey. Thanks for sharing that. Lynn, how about you? Can you tell us how you ended up at Girls Leap?
Sure. So first, let me thank you for having Girls Leap as part of the panel today. We're very excited to be celebrating Women's History Month with you and thrilled to have the chance to introduce Girls Leap to more people. And it's great for me. I've been reading up on Girlstart and Shane, and so, you know, we're very proud to be by their side. So I am Lynn Masterman. I use the pronouns she, her. I'm a co-executive director for Girls Leap. And I may have a bit of a less traditional route into the nonprofit sector. I worked for most of my career in both startup and large corporate organizations, but for profit. I worked the bulk of my career in community newspapers, becoming president and publisher for several newspaper groups, and then moving into an executive role with Fidelity Investments, which people may not all know or realize that at one point Fidelity Investments bought many newspaper groups. And then I continued on after they sold the newspapers. About 10 years later, I continued on with them, running a large centralized HR organization. So I did not have nonprofit experience specifically, but about 13 years ago now, Cynthia Maltby, who is my co-executive director, invited me by chance to a Girls Leap Teen Mentor graduation. And honestly, I was so impressed with the impact of the program on the young people that were there that I essentially never left. I was on the board for many years. And then about 4 or 5 years ago, I had an opportunity to take a voluntary buyout from Fidelity, and it was just sort of at a inflection point for Girls Leap, and Cynthia and I decided to take on the role together as co-executive directors. So there's been a humbling learning curve coming into the nonprofit world, but I can honestly say that every minute I have spent with this organization has reinforced my confidence in the value of the program. And I am so happy to be part of bringing it to the youth in our area. I truly, I can't say enough about this program, which I did not design, but about the value it has in bringing empowerment and voice and confidence to the young girls and non-binary youth in the area.
I love hearing your story as well. I think it sort of reinforces that women can do anything and careers are not always linear and they take you to where you're needed in life. And I think that's what your path really shows. I love that. Shane, I want to hear and learn much more about your organization in STEM and how you're empowering STEM education for girls and women. Can you just talk us through your organization, its mission, and the key programs that you're really excited about right now?
Yes, and I'm glad that I can do that, even after 10 whole months. Girlstart is an amazing um, dream that was founded in 1997 by our founder Rachel Muir, who really recognized that there's some girls in the back of the room or wherever they're sitting in that classroom that don't know that STEM is for them. That science, technology, engineering, and math really is a possibility, not only as taking more advanced courses and they belong in those courses, but also that they can advocate for that, but also that it also can lead to careers, and it doesn't always lead to college, that there's different pathways to get you into these STEM um, world of careers and lifestyles. But it's one of those things that Girl Start really is founded upon being able to increase girls' interest and their engagement in STEM through year-round experiences. So typically we serve 4th through 5th grade girls after school. So in the fall and the spring, they get a chance to get, if you will, like a buffet experience of STEM. And it's really important to bust up the idea of what they think STEM is. A lot of people still go all the way just to engineering. And it's so much more. There's a huge menu of what's possible in life science, earth science, engineering, space. It's all of those things. And how do we allow girls to understand that? It's by giving them those vocabulary, giving them those experiences, but also adding in guest speakers who are already doing those roles. So that way they see people, they hear people who are doing that, especially hearing and seeing people who look like them. So that way they know it's possible. Along with that, we also have summer experiences. So that way, yet again, continuing that year round and really helping make an impact on that summer loss that can happen when kids go home and kind of, they should still be kids, but it doesn't hurt to also have a week of learning and exploration. So it really is a deeper dive in some different concepts that they've learned during the after school. And then year round, throughout that time, we also have community events. So some of them are really focused on girls only. So our Girl in STEM experiences, that is a conference for 4th through 8th grade girls, where our amazing donors and those who love on Girl Start get a chance to showcase, if you will, different type of sections. So the girls rotate through that. They get a chance to learn what a different career is, to build, to do team building, as well as to learn how to cheer one another on and build that network that they need in order to pursue more advanced classes. So it's one of those things that we do that, as well as year-round programming in different areas that we serve. So in Austin, we actually have a building. So we do events like Starry Night that the whole family can come and experience and learn science together. For instance, this week in Houston, we're also doing Discovery Green and having a booth out there. So yet again, the kids who are on spring break have something to do with us as a community at large. Houston has made up this area and event so that way kids and families can learn together. And we are just one of the many who are showcasing programming. So it really is looking at how we are able to support what the girls are learning, how we can enhance and sometimes be the experience in science, especially in elementary science. We know that there's a lack of time given to science. It's typically reading and math. And so to be able to provide those girls an amazing foundation experience, so that way they know that they are ready to take those advanced math and science courses in middle school, high school, and then hopefully into college and career or certification program if they so wish. But also showing them that being a cosmetologist, that is STEM. Being an architect, that is STEM. Going into graphic design, those who make those creative artists of theater and those backdrops and transitions and lighting and sound, all of that has a STEM component. So it's also matching them to understanding that STEM is definitely a way of life, but also it allows them to be able to take risks, to feel comfortable trying something new, to know that they need a network around them to rally for them. And also really to work on that inner dialogue and be your first cheerleader, and to say the positive things that you're hearing us say out loud, or things that are like on my shirt, to yourself, because you have to have that inner, dialogue that gets you to what you need to be. But luckily, since 1997, we've served over 100,000 girls, over 15,000 teachers. We are in Texas, in North Texas, Central Texas, and the Houston area, as well as in Boston, Massachusetts, and the Silicon Valley. So that model that we're doing in elementary schools and ramping up in the summer and doing those community events really is something that we're trying to find those girls who didn't know science and technology, engineering, and math was for them, and doing our best that we can to help also the caregivers know like they need to hear positive reinforcement. What does it look like to be an adult advocate for that? And then having our amazing STEM crew who do the actual programming with the girls to be a near peer and mentor. They're typically high school and college girls going into the sciences as well as social work and education, but also in employing men as well. So that way they understand what does it look like to have an ally that doesn't look like you and represent like you in the world. You know, be someone standing beside you saying, yes, Shane, you can do this. You can be that next physicist. And moving away from or expanding just that famous, if you can see it, you can be it, and let them know that if they can imagine it, they can put it into action. Because there's so many jobs that I wasn't ready for, didn't even know about. So it's one of those things that, yes, we'd love to have girls see it and be it and put these mentors in front of them, but also give them that idea that it's okay and you're ready to be the first so-and-so because you know that you have the skill set and the you know, the academic knowledge and of course the support from mentors and sponsors around you.
You know, it's very clear why you are a best-in-class organization in this sector. It sounds like you're really hitting it from all of the different aspects, from sort of expanding the definition, mentorship, education, so many amazing opportunities. I have to share, I was a chemistry major, one of two women at the University of Michigan a while ago. And, you know, it was partially because a woman pulled me aside and said, I think you can do this. And so I just think of the 100,000 women who have benefited from the great work you're doing in Texas. Thank you so much. Lynn, why don't you tell us about Girls Leap, which has a great model around girls empowerment and confidence building. Can you share a little bit about your organization's work?
Sure. Love the opportunity to talk about Girls Leap, and I'm sure it's the same for you, Shane. Sometimes it's hard to find the stop button because there's so much we can talk about. This is our 25th year anniversary, so we have been around for a while. But we're also very proud that we've just won the Anna B. Stearns Foundation Best Practice Award, recognizing us for innovation and excellence in the work that we do. Thank you, Shane. And, you know, I think that is just indicative of how we continue to grow and change and evolve the program. We serve over 300 youth ages 8 to 22 each year in traditionally disinvested communities of Greater Boston. 90% of our participants are youth of color, and we've worked hard to provide meaningful representation for them. We now have 75% people of color on our board and staff, including 2 teen mentors who have full voting rights on our board. Thanks. Our vision is a world where all girls and gender expansive youth grow into strong, capable people, realizing the power of their aspirations. And that's, you know, I just can't express enough how much we believe in these kids and their aspirations and the ability for them to attain them. Our mission is really about disrupting the violence that surrounds girls and non-binary youth by amplifying their voices, emboldening their courage, and imparting critical life skills so they can thrive. We believe the unique combination of socio-emotional skill building and physical self-defense is transformative. It's just something that's different about it. There's something amazing about experiencing the power in their bodies, which for some folks is really the first time they've done that. And it gives them the confidence to use their voices, set boundaries, create healthy relationships, and develop into leaders. They learn how to say yes, they learn how to say no, and essentially gain agency over their lives, which, you know, are lessons we teach now and hope they take forward for the rest of their lives. We have 3 generations teach every class, an adult lead teacher, college-age teaching assistants, and near-peer teen mentors. So all of our teaching team learn the core curriculum and received training in culturally responsive, anti-racist, and gender inclusive teaching methods. We just feel like it's really important, no matter who is teaching our program, they're clearly teaching folks that come from different backgrounds. We want to make sure that we are approaching that in the most open and helpful way. Our current programs include our core after school program called LEAP. And then this past year, we just launched our new school day and advanced LEAP programs. We also have a paid year-round teen mentor program, which in part has them facilitating programs for us, but also has a separate program for them on economic empowerment, academic skill support, and a variety of different things. We also have a teaching assistant program and community workshops. We continually update our curriculum, and we're now in the process of adding a focused social media curriculum. Another nonprofit, Media Girls, selected Girls Leap to carry on with their curriculum after they made the decision to close their organization last year. It was just approved by the state in December, and we're very excited about it. They and we felt like the fit was perfect because, as everyone knows, for youth today, and really for everyone, managing social media presence is a critical life skill. It's not going away. So for them, learning to protect their physical and mental health and to amplify their voices in a productive way is absolutely essential. The last thing I'll say is that we continually measure our impact and try to learn from what we gather. We gather data through our own surveys, but also through a third-party organization called Boston After School and Beyond. They use the National Institute on Out-of-School Time survey to capture data points, including emotional control, critical thinking, engagement, choice, and autonomy. The certified BASAB observers also conduct site visits each semester into our programs to measure and provide feedback on our program quality. So we feel very, very lucky that we receive all of that feedback. We also look at the community engagement and leadership of our participants through the roles that they take in their communities. For example, we have and have had students on the Mayor's Council, the Student Advisory Council, the Ethnic Studies Board, and more. So really getting them to take advantage of those opportunities to have their voice heard. In the last few years, all of our graduating teen mentor seniors were accepted into colleges of their choice. One of our favorite stories is about Ciara. As Shane was saying, sometimes it's about college and sometimes it's not. This actually is a combination, but her real dream was to become a commercial pilot. And unsolicited, she credited Girls Leap with giving her the courage and the confidence to go for a career that was so out of the box for a young woman of color. And we are, just so proud of her. Anyway, I could go on forever, but I'll stop here. Just know that the feedback that we receive, we take very seriously and use it to shape our programs each semester.
Fantastic. And all those skills that you mentioned, from social media to self-defense to confidence building, I mean, we all know how they translate into the rest of your life, whether it's the workforce, parenthood, relationships, etc. So those young women in Boston seem very lucky to have Girls Leap to benefit from. So shifting gears a little bit, or I guess maybe it's the same theme, I'd love to hear about mentorship and sponsorship. We all know that that's just critical for women's empowerment and success, whatever that means to them. And I know each of your organizations really centers that. And so Shane, I'm wondering if you could talk about how, a little bit more about mentorship and how that's centered in your STEM programs and what, sort of how that fits in.
Of course, glad to. First, I must say I wish that Girls Leap was around when I was younger. That everything you said, I was like, yes, need that. But I think it's one of those things that it definitely speaks to also the value of being able to speak to the numbers and your impact and what you're doing. And I think being able to link that to how many people have you had in front of the Girls Matter, so that mentorship and sponsorship goes hand in hand with what you're measuring and the impact and who is coming and rallying around you. And just like Girls Lead, Girl Start is definitely girl centered. And those who show up in the world as girls are non-binary. It's one of those things of like letting them know that we are using research-based practices that really does allow girls' brains, or the youth brain, to really respond to how we are putting STEM in front of them, and doing it in a way that is about collaboration and not always competition. Now, we do want to encourage our youth to go into robotics. We do encourage our girls to go into those competitive science fairs. But we also feel it's important that as fourth and fifth graders, they just get exposed to what's possible, especially those who didn't think STEM was for them, or who hear from their parents, well, I'm not good at math. So they start thinking, well, maybe I'm not good at math either. Studies have shown that girls have the same interest and capabilities in science and math as boys, but somehow somewhere in there that perfectionism starts creeping in, and they're like, well, if I'm not perfect at it, maybe I shouldn't do it. That risk taking starts being, they're like, I don't know how that feels to lose or to take on a new challenge. Is it worth being the smart girl in the room, the peer pressure? And so what we really want to do with Girl Start is really put them as in together. What does it look like to have a peer that's your same age, that's mentoring in you and rooting you on and saying, you can do this. I believe we should try Shane's plan. Lynn, will you help me, will you help me do this? Laura, you have the expertise in drawing. The teacher said we needed to draw. Could you do that for us while I explain what I'm thinking? So really, what does it look like to have really your shoulder partner as your peer? And then having our STEM crew, who are typically high school and college age individuals, be, like I said, that near peer, that yet again, I'm 46. They don't really want to hear what I have to say. They want to see what that older sister, cousin, neighbor is doing, and them believing in them, and them having yet again a different type of relationship building of, I believe in you. This is what it looks like, to give them that positive reinforcement and those affirmations that they need, but also to say, hey, I'm doing this in college. I found out that I really love flowers in fifth grade. And so now I'm going into botany, and that's a career, and this is what it looks like. And so also getting a chance to, like I say, we bring in those guest speakers, those women and men who are doing the job that they're learning about. So bringing in another aspect of that real world connection. So it's one of those things that they are doing little challenges. They're learning about sound and they're building models, but also then to have someone come in and talk about, why do pilots have to wear, are those people who are helping direct the airplanes coming in, looking at the pilot, and why they have to do that and wear the earmuffs because of the impact of sound, and what does that do to your body and your eardrums? So having those kind of, guest speakers that come in and make it real, and also having them be a part of our conference, be a part of our volunteer experiences. So yet again, they see that there's an entire community that's like, we need you. We need you to succeed in fourth, fifth grade, every grade level. And that we believe that this is what it takes, is that the entire true village, if you will, and community really is behind you. And also as a STEM crew member, seeing those people that are in those roles also, that's another level of being able to show, what does it look like to work in the community at this job that you may pass by every day, that you're going to college, but guess what? We're seeing what you're doing now in this kind of outreach. Hey, what does it look like to then become an employee at our job and then give back in a different way? As well as those women who are in those employee resource groups who come and volunteer. Yet again, it's giving back. Like if they, yet again, kind of what I said to Lynn, it's like, that's what I needed when I was growing up. These women are now being able to say, I'm going to hurry up and give back as well. So that way these girls have what they need, and they're not having to say, I wish I had that when I grew up. But also giving our STEM crew that support. We really want to make sure that we also are highlighting the women who are doing amazing things. So like at our luncheon and our galas, we want to highlight the women who are really going above and beyond as champions for the next generation of STEM leaders and who are doing the work. So we want to make sure that we are also offering that. And so when it comes to those amazing foundations and corporations that want to work with us. It really is like, what does that look like beyond just writing a check? What does it look like to truly give your time and talent to Girlstart in order to move our mission, and also making sure that we're going into the neighborhoods who do need us, who want us, and making those introductions. So that way, me as a stranger coming into Boston, it doesn't feel like that. They're like, if so and so, if Lynn is vouching for Girlstart, we will listen. We will give you an audience because we know who Lynn is. Shane knows, so it's those kind of things of also being a sponsor for our near peer nonprofits to also say, hey, I only fill in where it's 4th through 8th grade. I need to now know who to hand these wonderful girls off to. Also, what does it look like to work side by side? We're doing STEM, you're doing empowerment and protection and agency. What does that look like to have a collaborative event? So that way they yet again see that I can be in all these different organizations that are making me a whole human, and making sure it's building, making sure that I feel safe and empowered and I'm confident to move forward into this world. If we've looked at the amazing Generation Z, they're not waiting for us. They are making changes, and so we need to just make sure that we are giving them the right, path, or that we are clearing out what we can to be the adults that we are in the space to allow them to be the youth and the next voice that they need. So it really is something about just our entire ecosystem that Girlstart tries to create, from the girls that we serve to those who serve the girls to those who serve the adults of Girlstart. It really is about an ecosystem and keeping it in an amazing flow in every community that we're in.
How incredible that you've taken this idea of one-on-one mentorship and sort of turned it on its head and said it's really a village that mentors. I love how you're hitting, bringing all different types of people into these girls' lives to show them who they could be, or as you said earlier, who they could imagine to be. Lynn, I think you do some similar work. Could you share a little bit more about your mentorship and sponsorship model and how your program participants are using that to be the best versions of themselves?
Sure. Let me just first say, Shane, you're doing a service not only to your participants and students in the program, but really to overall business and society. I can't tell you the number of meetings I spent when I was in the for-profit world talking about what was the education system. We started with high school, then college, then high school, then going back to elementary school, to really try to start to have a pipeline for STEM educated women and girls, but in general, but definitely women and girls. So it's really just an incredible service that you're providing, and so important. So for Girls Leap, what I'll say is that mentorship and sponsorship are literally the core of our programming. Empowering youth to develop their confidence, their agency and voice is integrated into every aspect of our programming. Through our intergenerational teaching model, the students always have caring adults available. They have teen role models from their community. They learn about college experience from the teaching assistants. We too have speaker series where we're bringing in women of color who have excelled in various fields, just to give them a sense of the world out there and the possibilities for them. Through teaching our curriculum, the teaching assistants and the teens develop leadership skills and learn lessons that are valuable in so many ways in their own lives. It's a little bit hard for me to answer this question because I honestly think there's a little bit of magic to the way the program was designed, which creates this community and mentorship support. It definitely starts with our ethos, which is focused 100% on the enormous strengths these kids bring to the program and to the world. It's the community of support that we have within, that's sort of built into the programming, but also, within our organization as a whole and in our community, the partnerships that we have in so many ways. It's the time spent exploring and learning to appreciate and value the intersectional identities of all of these kids. I think it's really important for them to get in touch with that and to begin to value it. I'm just thinking, I love your t-shirt, Shane, and we have a t-shirt that says worth it across the front, and it is really about these kids understanding their own value. Every topic that is covered, and this is the way the program was designed, is really, it's a framework in which the participants bring their own real life situations to be addressed when they're talking about boundary setting or consent or anger management or healthy relationships. It's the fact that they are leading as often as they are being led during the programs. And it's really fortunate that we have many former participants who become teen mentors, who become teaching assistants, who come back to participate in our teaching staff. And it's that support system and you know, the actual live experience of these folks within the world and you know, and within Girls Leap just really continuously builds that support. Last fall, we actually completed our first ever alumni survey. We worked with a longtime former staffer of LEAP who's currently a PhD candidate at Brandeis University. And she developed and administered an IRB approved survey that she was then able to present the results of at a national mentoring conference at the University of New Mexico this past October. The study's conclusion confirmed the Girls Leap theory of change and the importance of mentorship and community. In part, the conclusion was that LEAP alumni cherish the mentorship they received, and many maintain those mentoring relationships while also actively acting as mentors to others in their lives. The intergenerational near-peer group mentoring model that LEAP uses to deliver its programs is a key component that leads to these outcomes. We received literally hundreds of comments from the alumni, repeatedly hearing about how LEAP prepared them to walk through the world with confidence and assertiveness, and about the importance of community and the importance of empowering each other. So as Shane was speaking to, it's not only you know, one-on-one direct mentoring relationships, it's really about empowering each other. And that is so powerful. I'm going to just read one quote that I think is fairly typical of what we received. Everyone who knows and loves me knows the impact that Girls Leap has had on me. Not only did I learn responsibilities and teamwork, but I was given the honor of impacting the lives of other girls around the greater Boston area, a community I am passionate about serving. I first got involved thanks to my guidance counselor at the time, who saw me and saw that I needed an outlet to not only serve, but to grow. I joined this program at a rough point in my life, but I was able to receive support and given a platform to grow. Being a part of Girls Leap helped me to learn the importance of working alongside and with other like-minded individuals who share a common goal, but also embrace diversity. So, you know, I actually get chills every time I talk to our participants or our alumni and have a sense of the impact of the program, but I can't express enough how much mentorship and sponsorship is core to it.
That story quote gave me chills too. So you're not alone. And earlier you said it was magic. I heard a really well thought out, well orchestrated, well researched program that is really delivering for girls. We're coming up on the end of our time, but I do want you guys to have the opportunity to tell some of the people who might be watching what new things are on the horizon that you are trying to get more resources for. So maybe quickly you could share if there's one or two new initiatives that you're hoping to start this year. Shane?
Ours is really, like I said, in my 10th month, really trying to do what we're doing bigger and better, to really be a presence in our community that's not invasive, that we are truly side by side and being a true community partner. So all of our programming currently is at no cost to the girl or her family, other than we do have some summer programs that are for pay in Austin. So we all are always looking for those who want to be ambassadors for our Send a Girl to Camp campaign. So that way it's not another barrier to getting the girl into an amazing program. And you know, like I said, you heard what we can do in terms of just getting that girl a deeper definition of what STEM can do for her and those careers that are possible. So of course, donors can go from just $35 to get a girl to camp to going even bigger and beyond if they have a match program or they want to have their own campaign, to definitely allow us to tackle that amazing learning time in the summer and that creativity that they need, and also give them an outlet to see other girls when they're not just in the house looking at the TV. Another thing we do, we're always looking for sponsors as well as partners to help us with our Girl in STEM conferences in Texas and beyond. So we're always looking for those who are available in Austin and North Texas for April and May to be a part of our Girl in STEM conference. But of course, we are still always whether it's just an increment or those who want to be able to give time and talent on as a board member, regional council member, you know, so it's one of those things that we have so many ways to engage. As Lynn mentioned, the magic really is the people who love us. That is what's core to how we do what we can do. We couldn't do this without those who believe in Girlstart, believe in our mission. So it's just, those are just two of our current priorities. It's really growing how we do our camping and making sure that yet again we can keep that at no cost to the girl, and also making sure those community events are really a way to get girls, and yet again who we're not seeing in our after school program, to know about what the possibility is with Girlstart, and to hopefully bring them into our fold.
Those sound like great opportunities to make your program bigger and better, as you said. Lynn, what about you? What initiatives are you hoping to grow this year with more resources?
So honestly, I would just say, like Girlstart, we don't charge ever for our programming. And so we do depend on the kindness of others to move forward. We reach a fraction of the youth whose lives could be changed with our programming. And you know, the demand definitely outstrips our ability to meet it locally, as well as we get questions and people asking about expanding it beyond our state borders, et cetera, all the time. And especially in the aftermath of the pandemic, and really the 10-year trends of depression and anxiety that have become a national mental health emergency for adolescents. This is all just adding to the demand and complicating the issues that we're all grappling with. So we're looking to double the number of youth we serve over the next 3 years. That is our plan. And to do so, we really need to address our organizational capacity. We're a very small organization. We need to simplify our implementation model and shift the co-ED's daily duties towards more strategic activities so that we can move the organization forward. It sounds like we can definitely learn from you, Shane, with the expansion that your organization has had, and I would love to take advantage of that opportunity. You know, we know there are some key roles that we need to add in order to beef up our organization and allow us to address the, you know, developing scale in order to expand the organization. So we would absolutely love and appreciate any support and partnership that the folks on the call can provide.
I'm sure there's lots of people who feel inspired by your goal of doubling the number of women and girls you're serving. Well, I think we're coming up on the end of our time. I want to share where people can find you. So Girlstart, you can see, and Girls Leap, you can see their websites here and their Facebook, Instagram, Twitter handles. I also want to say you can find them at Charity Navigator. They are both 4-star rated organizations with 100% score. So you really are the best of the best. And it's been a pleasure to hear about the amazing work that you are doing. We encourage you to, if this work is inspired to you, donate to them or other women empowerment organizations that speak to you. Thank you so much, Lynn, and thank you so much, Shane, for joining me. I am leaving inspired by your work, and I know others on the call are as well.
Thank you so much, Laura.
So again, thank you for everyone who's attended. You can find more about what I do, Charity Navigator, at www.charitynavigator.org, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, etc. And now we're on TikTok. And hopefully you will look up Girlstart and Girls Lead. Thanks so much and happy Women Empowerment Month.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.